one to watch, but it's not my favorite to play.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty awkward one, just because there are so many ways of getting to the pedestal. It's a pretty hard defense. I'm excited seeing a normal hero roller coming into here. And we do have an NZAP coming off on both sides, and a splatter scope. It's pretty awkwardly similar to now. Even a pro on each side, just different pros.
Yeah, I think... I'm not really sure if I would rather Booyah or Bubbles at this point. I think Bubbles can be really strong to help pave the way for the Rainmaker, but the range that the Booyah has is also really good.
Neppy. Ooh. Joseph nicely cleaned up and saved Neppy there. I think the interesting thing here, though, is that the cups are truly mirrors, because if you, like, consider the fact that technically brushes are considered part of the, like, roller class, they are exact mirrors. Nogami tries to rain down on Neppy, but is barely able to at the end of the NZAP range. We see the roller up top and a hammer throw trying to get Wasabi, but unable to. A full wipe on the side of Kanai.
But before that wipe, pushing up to 27 is a really strong push for this map. I think that they did a fantastic job getting up that area, you know, following that hammer track. That was a perfect use of a hammer right there. So we'll see what Rip Supermeme is going to be able to do in reverse here. Going into the Rainmaker free zone, trying to jump it. Do they do? Yes! Nogami is able to jump onto that uninkable ramp, but gets taken out by Legend very quickly afterwards.
And that's a really close and awkward spot to have it, and it's really hard to be able to get back there and continue the push, even though it is a good push if you are able to get there in the first place. They are going to let the Rainmaker reset, which is a pretty good move. However, a lot of their base is still painted. Nogami still tried to go for it at the last second, gets quickly taken down. That nice little pink armor poop.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, that was a weird teleportation moment right there.
I love those kinds of moments where, like, the ink armor won't, like, the ink armor will save you from death, but it will not save you from getting, like, pushed backwards into the water. Yeah. Those kind of clips are also another fun of those, like, awkward deaths of, yes, my own ink armor was my death. Thank you. Pretty good trade there of brush on a roller.
Really well done here. Oh, go ahead.
They are trying to go a similar way, but Joseph is able to get pushed in there pretty far, but it does look like Neppy's kill was actually the one that got there. It's the real question here is, what? Do they know if a Woo was there? I don't know.
I was wondering that too. It seemed like they knew for a second and then they forgot about him, but Woo has a little bit of trouble there with Joseph. Joseph does take them out, and Nogami is still unable to kind of pick up that Rainmaker. I think the Rainmaker is unfortunately going to reset before Rip Supermeme is able to pick it up from that location.
I think Neppy in particular has been doing a really good job of having Mr. Nogami's number, which, I mean, I would like Mr. Nogami's number. I guess. Neppy's done a really good job of that. Bubbles do come out, however, they get immediately taken down by the Booyah Bomb. It's pro versus pro kind of special war there.
A little bit, and that's where maybe having that Kensa Pro would have been a little bit stronger, but I mean, Rip Supermeme has done a good job by pushing this to 36. They don't need that much more to take the lead. Beautiful double by Seminapera.
The real thing, and there's the lead! And can they even be stopped at this point? It looks like it's all down. Oh, wow, it looked like they were going to go down, but they didn't. Okay, there we go. Nogami is
pushing to 7. Man, that is a push if I ever saw one.
That is going to be rough, especially with only a minute left.
Konami needs to just get some more map control here, which I think was their plan. They were hoping to let the Rainmaker reset while they got map control, but they focused on the upwards portion of the map instead of where the Rainmaker was resetting. So by the time they wanted to get down there, so much of the map is once again blue in Rip Supermeme's color here.
I think honestly too, like Wasabi is doing a particularly good job of what you sometimes do see Chargers doing. They're shooting a lot, and it's not necessarily always to kill, but it's to just get that paint there to allow the rest of their team to move. And even though they're doing that, it also just allows for the fact that, like, when they do pick it up, when they do get a shot, people aren't expecting these to actually be like on them because they're so used to being shot around. We go into overtime here, but we do see that Stingray coming out. The counter, oh, and that is game.
Did I say Konami?
One of us probably did.
I think it was the Nogami plus Kanai in my brain that tricked that into... Sorry.
I think it's like a ship. It's a perfect ship, literally. When they meet in the middle, it's Mr. Konami.
And it was a really great, play by both teams, but Rip Supermeme is going to take that first game as we go into this next one. I really love Clan Blitz on Port Mackerel. I think it's a little tough to defend, especially once a push happens. Where the basket break is so far from respawn that if you all go down as an actual team comes back in, then you have a pretty tough spot to kind of get back to that break and clean everyone up as you're respawning because it's just so far away. So maybe... it can be pretty tough, but you just have to have really good positioning, stay alive, and wait for the opportunity for the rest of your team to jump in would be kind of my call here. How do you feel about it, Earth?
I think it definitely is one of those maps with a lot of jump-ins, but it also just has that pure, there are more than 10 clams in each of the left and right aisles as you just start off. So you can totally just manage to just pull a lot of those clams in and then wait to, push forward once you do have that kind of strong map control, but just trying to get the clam count up there quickly, I think is a really strong push. I think also just, honestly, personally, I really like Blob on this weapon, or Parries, just because the movement of the curling bomb and just Blob is such a pain in any of these enclosed hallways. We do see the Hero Roller coming out with a curling bomb. And I think the hammer also does pretty darn well in these close corners. You can't really escape it.
I really also like Baller for this. I'm happy that we see that here too. And the Slasher Deco, I think, is very useful because it can slash right over some of these smaller shipping containers and get a couple of members that might be hiding on the other side of it.
So we do see a bloodbath so far. It did look like the hammer did get taken down during that play there and was not able to get the kill on Senimpera. Nebby's Stingray does a good job of pretty much defending any kind of push forward. However, they do have a bit of a clams disadvantage. While Rip does not have a power clam up. Nope, there it goes. They just had many more clams.
They do. I think that this is also interesting because, as we mentioned, there are a lot of clams on either side, but if a team is not, there we go, if a team is not taking advantage of the clams that are on the top of those blocks, they have a much harder time. It looks like this is the beginning of a push for Rip.
And there's the jump.
And the barrier, but I'm not sure. Oh, there are a couple members there. Mr. Nagami and Awu over there, able to get a couple of extra loose clams in, bringing the point down to 68. Nice opening push for them here.
That's a pretty good push. It just does have the weakness of if Kanai is able to get 2 clams in, and they already do have 2 power clams on the board, that is immediately lead. It's not like they need to just kind of put together a lot of smaller clams all at the same time. We see the hammer coming in, it gets one of them, but it did not manage to get the double before getting taken down. The Forge was the only one left, and they managed to break it, but there is no fault because everyone is dead. They do lose the second power clam.
Somebody picked it up. I don't think that anyone is over there to kind of take care of that, but very helpful for them to still be able to hold onto that, and maybe they can get another follow-up push really, really quickly.
And honestly, if they manage to do that, they just need to get a little bit more in. It looks like Rip has a bunch of power clams right over there, but it looks like they're going to despawn. One of them is already gone. Joseph still is carrying around that same power clam from that original push. And it looks like they might be able to score right now. They are able to score. Is there any follow-up, though?
They have enough clams around. It looks like that hammer was working to try to pave the way, but I don't quite think that anyone was there close enough with some of those clams to take that out. So
see, the interesting thing is that Legend, the hammer, did have a lot of clams with them, but they chose to not throw them in, instead trying to get those kills. And I think that they would have potentially been able to get in at least one before their death, which would have at least given them the lead. And also would have taken them off the even amount of just getting a power clam in at once.
Very true. Very true. Interesting going on right now. Wasabi just kind of hanging back in this defense, even though they do have a power clam. I think they were waiting for a couple of their teammates. Looks like this could be where they're going in right now. Mr. Nogami flashing up that this way, that, oh no, Wasabi jumps in, but unfortunately goes down to that Stingray. They do get the power clam in and a couple of loose clams in, but bringing it down to 55 is not that big of a lead from 70 when there's only a 10-point penalty and
full wipe.
Yeah.
And Kanai already does have 27 clams on the board. They see the bubbles coming out, and if Neppy is able to get through them, and they are able to, yes, there they go. Neppy is the only one left up there, but it does go down.
Very true. That
Joseph?
was a fantastic push right there. Joseph
Excellent
was all
job.
the way in the back there, maybe playing defense just in case Supermeme was ready to run that back and have a power clam directly under the basket. Supermeme does have 2 power clams at the ready and a couple more loose ones. If they're able to kind of hang on to these here, they could have a very, very strong push incoming.
I think the problem right now that they're about to have, that Kanai's about to have, is the fact that Nogami had his baller and they were able to jump in. They have 2 jumps right now that just went in. Down to 29, they just need 1 more clam.
No one's there.
Anyone there?
No one's there. It's a
they
team wipe. So that is going to be Kanai taking this game. Very nice job there at the end. Really, really stupendous cleanup happening from them.
Wow, that was absolutely incredible.
Really, really fantastic job there. That brings us to a 1-1 set so far for Rip Supermeme and Kanai. And we'll see what they're able to do on this next one. Splat Zone's on Makomart. This is quite possibly my second favorite map in the entire game.
Honestly, it's a really fun one. I think it's honestly a very, very balanced map. I think honestly, yeah, I like it in all modes. I don't super like it in Tower, but like the rest of them are really top notch. Looking at bracket overall, we do see that Lemuria went 3-1 over Southern Lights in round 3 winner semis, or winners quarters. And if you look at losers right now, we do have Suspense playing Coal Rise in losers round 3, and Blue managed to 2-0 Ragnarok, making the losers round 4, who plays the loser of this match. Southern Lights will play the winner of the Suspense versus Coal Rise match, and we do see from now we are almost down to just 6 teams.
Wow, so this has kind of gotten very serious very quickly. You know, going into whoever is able to win this set that we're watching today will be facing up of Lemuria, and they're a really formidable team to be going up against, so we'll see who's able to do it going into Splat Zones on Makomart, and here we go. Alright, so the custom range blaster coming out there is a pick that we had been seeing for quite a while, and I think it's sort of taken a backseat, but I'm happy to see it back out today here, as Mr. Nogami is going to do everything they can to try to make sure they get those beautiful directs. What a lovely sound.
I think, honestly, Mako in particular is one of the only maps that we still do see the custom blast. Wow! the custom blaster in on a very strong way. You see a lot of frontliners who usually play shooters still going off and playing blasters. Wow, after all of that...
That's what I was thinking too. Even though they were able to do that, Kanai is still taking the zone.
It just goes to show you that, like, murder isn't everything, particularly on Splat Zones. So much of it is just about ping control. Like, everything in the end just boils back down to turf war.
It's very true. Very true. Especially when you're talking about Splat Zones. Able to control that zone and make sure that you're constantly putting up the pressure a little bit ahead of it is so, so strong.
I think an interesting thing here, too, is that while Neppy and Wasabi seem to be getting their Stingrays at about the same pace, we aren't seeing that many Stingray battles. We saw it in the Rainmaker match on Snapper, but overall throughout these, even though they are playing the same weapon, we are not seeing those kind of extreme battles that you're used to. However, look at this! They are already down to 10!
Wow.
Oh! These directs mean nothing if they can't paint!
That was an amazing, amazing shutout. I'm speechless, actually. I mean, Kanai, we saw them play earlier in their last set, that they did a really fantastic job coming back for that reverse sweep. But this one, too, against Rip Supermeme, amazing. Wonderful, wonderful job.
I think it's a really interesting thing, particularly on Mako, is just that Kanai had a much better painting comp. Like, which is strange to say, especially when it's like your brush is painting a lot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But they really just did a good job of outpainting, and they just so focused on objective, which, as you are an objective player, I think you know the importance of that.
Yes, I am very much so an objective player.
So, what do you think about tower control Schellendorf?
A lot of people have a lot of angry feelings towards Schellendorf, but I would say it could be worse. I think this is one you have to be so careful of what's happening on top of the glass, especially tower control. We've already seen Neppy really shut a lot of plays down with those fantastic snipes that they've been putting up today. But, you know, we do have a decent sniper on the side of Rip Supermeme, so maybe it'll be a pretty good even match here, as long as everyone is paying attention to what's going on above them.
I think also just honestly, like, this is Schellendorf's best mode, so we'll really see. I mean, some people might argue that Splat Zones is, but I would say this is its best mode. Ooh, we do see the Soda Slosher coming out from Sen and Para. That is a strange pick. Kanai decides to bring out 2 Stingrays from the sloshing machine as well as the Charger. We see a Wu flanking there, going to the T-Tech instead of playing the roller that they've been playing on a lot of other sets. Once again, Kanai goes directly to the objective.
I really like their objective play. I think that it's a super strong way that they've been doing this, and I think it's something that Rip Supermeme has been lacking, because we can see that even though they have been doing a lot of the splatting that they need, they're not quite taking advantage of their opportunities to hop on that objective. Like right now, they can be riding the tower right now, but they're choosing to go after picks as Kanai is respawning. So I would definitely wonder if they could be doing a little more to push that tower.
I think also here it's kind of the question of who should be on the tower. Ooh, and Wasabi is the last one left. At least they do have the Stingray, but they are about to be targeted by Neppy's Stingray. Again, Wasabi is just doing a great job of staying alive, but honestly, you can't really say the same of their teammates at this point. There's the Stingray battle I've been missing, just coming out from the sloshing machine instead of the Charger.
Absolutely,
no
really kind of waiting there, and you're right, you know, there's no checkpoints that have come up here yet, and I'm not sure. We'll see what they're able to do.
Wu had an excellent inkjet there before getting quickly taken down by the sloshing machine. I think, honestly, the sloshing machine is weapons. Wow. You know, as I go to compliment it, you just see the Soda Slosher just kind of wrecking it right there. Wow, Joseph got out.
I was wondering, too, how that was going to be able to happen. I think that the Soda Slosher is sort of on this like a little bit of an underappreciated list. It's something that I really love the idea of, but in practice, maybe not as strong as some of the other slosher class. So I think being able to see some of those is a really nice play there.
I think it's particularly interesting because we are seeing the soda slosher a little bit more, but it's, to be honest, it seems like it's a bit more from Europe. Like, I was quadding with Kyo the other day, and I think he was playing the soda slosher. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember, but he and Shaq were mostly memeing, so that's why they were playing with us plebs. We do see that Kanai has kept the lead there, and they are able to clear that first checkpoint, which is a pretty good one because of how easy that Kanai will be able to stop that first checkpoint with their 2 Stingrays.
To be honest, I think that it's a really strong checkpoint to have on this map. Sometimes, you know, that first checkpoint is, oh, it's just the first one, it's okay, we can move, you know, once we get it, like, it's not as big of a deal. But for this map, it's really strong because there's so many opportunities for people to come around and do plays like that, that if you can't get past it, you have no hope of getting a commanding lead. So getting through that first checkpoint really opens the gate for Kanai here to be able to just keep pushing this lead that they have.
I think the one thing here that was kind of interesting about that play in particular was that Kanai opted to use both of their Stingrays at the same time to take down Rip Supermeme's Stingray there. However, we do see that they already got it down to 31. They only have one more left to get through. And honestly, Rip Supermeme has a hard line to get through, especially considering that this could be their last match in winners.
It certainly could if Rip Supermeme is not able to do something quickly, because they have less than a minute left to be able to actually kind of take this tower as far as it needs to go. Wasabi had the Stingray, decides to ride the tower, and unfortunately does go down. Rip Supermeme is in a tough spot too because they're continuously having a scattered spawn right now that they're not quite able to kind of come back and come together to achieve something that they're really going for.
Like, I know feed to win works with the feeding, but I'm not really sure it works for any other team but them. I do think also that in terms of play, like, having the sloshing machine up there is just being, like, able to rain down on everyone else so quickly that it just makes it hard to just be able to stay on tower. Like, earlier we saw Wasabi stayed on tower, but was just rained down on the sloshing machine. Already reducing a Stingray out. There it comes.
Could be it though.
Double Stingray,
the double Stingray. Oh no. Oh, team
and there's the wipe
for Rip Supermeme.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Yeah,
and there we go. Honestly, like,
it was rough.
Yeah. Wow, and look, their, like, kills are pretty even, honestly. Like, you see the 14-12 coming out from the top. Just again, though, objective